Hello, my name's Harry, and I was born in Northern Ireland. When I was little, all our storybooks had at least one story about giants in them. I used to think they were great fun. As a matter of fact, I still do. We've got here a picture drawn by two 5-year-olds. One did the giant, and the other did the child looking up at the giant. You can see how big the giant is. Nearly 3 times bigger than the child. Oh, yes. Giants are big. Giants are strong. Giants just love marching along. Hey, maybe when giants sneeze, all our washing blows away. Or when they snore, maybe all the windows shake. We're going to see a ginormous picture of a giant be made by some children in Northern Ireland. And here they are. And here's the giant. He's going to have trousers made of real material. And his hair's made out of real wool. More fun to make a giant picture with lots of children. When I was a child, I went on a school trip to a place near my home called the Giant's Causeway. It's a wonderful, magical place with strange shaped stones. Here's a picture of it. In the olden times, people living round and about really did believe the causeway had been built by giants. Do you see that bit sticking out on the sea there? Well, that's a causeway, a path of stones that goes all the way under the sea to Scotland. Well, of course, the children who made that picture of the giant just had to go on a trip to the Giant's Causeway. You can just imagine giants working somewhere like this.
There were a whole lot of giants. Giants were working, then they were building a path for his people to walk on over to Scotland.
You have to take giant steps to climb up here.
Come on, have a really good look.
Oh, I think a giant has left one of his climbing boots here.
Look quick, look what Peter's found. It's a pity we couldn't find 2 boots and
Let's
see
look
just
and
what he
see.
has left.
Let's
Oh, not here.
The giants have left a boot behind them.
He could almost sit in it.
I think it's even bigger than a policeman's boot.
I think this boot's too big for me.
Not very exciting, is it? But it won't stay that way. All sorts of magic can happen when there are giants around. Our story today is called Finn McCool, the Giant of Knockmany Hill. There he is on top of the hill. It's all about Finn and his wife Una and an even bigger giant called Cuchulainn. Let's open the book, shall we? Hey, I told you there was magic around, didn't I? Now we can really imagine we're in Ireland in the olden times when giants still lived here. Let's take a look around, shall we? Hey, maybe there are giants around. It's a giant's table. Ooh, I feel quite hungry. I wouldn't mind a bit of that soda bread. Hey, hello. What's this? It's a giant's tooth. So, that must be giant's bread. I think I'll stay hungry. Do you think they saw me? That's Finn McCool and his wife Una. Our story's named after him, but she's the clever one. The best giant wife in the whole world. Watch out for the clever tricks she plays on Cuchulainn, who is out to give Finn a beating. This Cuchulainn is the biggest giant in Ireland. In fact, he's so big, the very earth trembles when he walks. Now, how is Una going to save Finn from the likes of him? Let's see. In olden times, when Ireland's glens and woods were still filled with leprechauns and fairies, giants too lived on that fair Emerald Isle. One of the finest of those big folk was Finn McCool, who was wed to the lovely great lass, Una. They made their home on the top of Knockmany Hill. Now, as any good giant, Finn McCool had his work to do, so he was often away from home. Lovely Una didn't seem to mind, for there was plenty to keep her own hands busy, spinning, knitting, and even giving a pretty touch to their great house. One morning, when Finn McCool was busy working with his kin building a causeway to Scotland, the word came that Cuchulainn was coming. Cuchulainn was a giant too, and without a doubt the strongest in that part of the world. When he walked, the very earth trembled, and with one blow of his fist he had flattened a thunderbolt so that it looked like a pancake. He had kept the thunderbolt in his pocket to show all just how strong he was. Every giant in Ireland had been given a good beating by Cuchulainn. Every giant, that is, except Finn McCool. So far, Finn had been clever enough. He kept moving about whenever he heard that Cuchulainn was in the neighborhood. But this time, Cuchulainn was sure to get him. So he sped off for Knockmany Hill, his house, and his darling Una. Finn, me love, said Una, greeting him at the door. What brings you home so early from your work? The chance to get a sight of you, my sweet thing, said Finn. And to keep out of the way of Cuchulainn. He's after me. Finn, husband of mine, enough is enough, said Una as gently as she could. For years you've been hiking around from one place to another to avoid this Cuchulainn. You'll not get a moment's rest until you stand fast and face him. Oh, I don't have the heart to face a man who can make a young earthquake just with his walk. Now hush, said Una, and give me time to think. Do you worry that I won't do all I can to help you settle this matter once and for all? So she sent around to all the neighbours to borrow 1 and 20 iron frying pans. She hid them in 1 and 20 loaves of bread, and then she set them in the cupboard with some bread she had baked the day before. She then took a pot of milk and made it into a fresh wet cheese, and put it along with some white stones at the foot of the cradle she'd made up. At that, Knockmany Hill gave a little dance. He's coming, said Finn, his face turning a fine shade of green. Now, my darling, she said, handing Finn some baby clothes. Put these on and do everything just as I'm about to tell you. And remember, she said at the last, Cuchulainn's strength lies in the brass finger he has on his right hand. Now quick, into the cradle, because I hear that man mounting at the door. All right, woman, bellowed the giant at the door. Where's that coward Finn McCool that I've been chasing after all this time? Well, well, said Una sweetly. Now isn't that a shame? Finn is off working on the causeway, but he'll be home by tea time. So why don't you just come right in and sit down? Poor Finn trembled in the cradle. Do you see this? Cuchulainn said, pulling what looked like a pancake out of his pocket. This was a thunderbolt until I caught it and flattened it, and that's what I'm going to do to Finn McCool too. Tut, tut, said Una. That may not be as easy as you think. Finn McCool's a big broth of a man. Why, take a look at our little baby, and you might be getting an idea of the strength and breadth of Finn himself. Cuchulainn peeped in the cradle. Chirp, said the huge baby. My, said Cuchulainn, what a big boy. While you're waiting, Why not have a bite to eat? Said Una. Cucullin popped a loaf into his mouth and took a huge bite right down on one of the frying pans.
Ah! Shouted Cucullin. What kind of devil's bread is this? Here are two of my teeth out.
That's Finn's bread. Is it a bit too tough for you?
Too tough for me. Just give me another.
Cucullin chomped into another loaf and into another frying pan.
Oh! I'll not have a tooth left in my mouth, woman. There's two more out. Oh!
The baby began to yell too.
Hungry!
Ah, sweet dumpling, said Una, and she handed baby Finn a loaf. And because there was no frying pan in it, Finn ate it right down.
More?
Said the baby.
He seems a strong lad,
said Cucullin. If this was the baby, the father must indeed be a bit stronger than Cucullin thought. Ah, yes, said Una, beaming. Why, he loves to play with those white stones there in his cradle. Show the nice man, baby dear. So Finn picked up a stone that was really the cheese and squeezed all the water out of it and popped it into his mouth and ate it down. Cucullin was not to be outdone by a baby. He grabbed the stone and squeeze as he might. He couldn't get one drop of water out of it. He popped it into his mouth, and with a chomp, there went the rest of his teeth. When he finally calmed down, Cucullin said,
let me see your choppers, baby.
Baby Finn opened wide his mouth, and Cucullin stuck in his brass finger, the very brass finger that was the secret of his strength. And that was that, for poor weak Cucullin. Out of the door he went, never to bother anyone again, let alone Finn McCool. Tea's ready, my love, said Una, and Finn McCool sat down with the best giant wife in the whole world, and they lived a long, happy life. I'm having my tea too. A real Irish tea from olden times, with some nice soda bread and a soft, white cheese. That's the kind Una made in a muslin bag. I've taken some out of the bag. Now, a little sprinkle of salt and lots of chives from the garden. Mmm, delicious to eat. But hey, watch out for frying pans in your soda bread. Mmm, lovely. Goodbye.